finished the Red Ranger print, and I am so relieved and have a great sense of satisfaction while at the same time having regret and imposter syndrome. There are parts of it that I'm like, wow, this is really solid and good. There are parts of it I'm like, oh, this was a little bit better than I was capable of doing before this picture. And there are parts of it that I still think are bad and wrong, and no matter how many times I redraw it, it still looks off. And I at once, I'm like, oh, the color is very cohesive, and this is very bland, and I needed to punch something up more. But it's done. The client's happy, paid. I'm gonna make prints of it. I've had lots of people look at it, tell me it's fine, and it is fine. I think at some point on this journey, I was like, this is gonna be a masterpiece. It's gonna be beyond. And I'm like, oh, it's good, it's fine, it is competent. But I'm done with that. So I have to do 6 sketch card commissions is the next thing I have to do. And then eventually 10 more sketch cards for the company. Yeah. Wait, look at that side. Wait, and there's more over here.
Did you ever see a tree come down? This is a chance in a lifetime. They don't come down very often.
They're gonna pull it with the rope. You can do the match after.
Yeah, we'll say that.
That's gonna, whoa, it's coming down. Whoa!
Woo!
Wow, look at that.
Yay!
Perfect.
I didn't want you to miss it.
Of course I didn't miss it. I was here before you.
I know. The chippers go whack.
Whoa!
It goes in like a big log and it comes out like sawdust, like chips.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There you go, mulch.
Yeah.
Good. Push it real good. Wow.
Get it
Wow.
in there.
Push it. Push it. Push it. Push it in the BC 1500.
I'm glad I'm taking video
There
of
it
this. It's Friday night, like 10 o'clock. I am in a veterinary hospital for Star Commander. And I've been here, I don't know, an hour or more. They took her in back and they called me in from the waiting room to come sit in like the little waiting room. But I thought she was gonna be in here. And I guess the doctor's going around to each. Yeah, this is a weird experience for me because usually you either drop the pet off or you wait for the pet and then you're with the pet. This is a weird thing where it's like, oh wait, not in the waiting room, but in the small waiting room where you're normally with the pet, but no pet. I even have the carrier. I've been doing some work on my sketch cards. She was puking and pooping and generally being sick, and I thought she was getting better after a few days, but then today she pooped on the floor and blood. So we took her in, but our doctor was not available. So this is like 30-40 minutes away without traffic because they were able to see her. And that's what's going on. I'm hoping it's just like, oh, she's sick, here's some antibiotics, but who knows? I don't need one. Thursday, July 18th. Cat seems to be fine. Given her medicine, I have to go get I want to say a subtucusion. That's not a thing. A subdermal contusion. These are not medical words, but sound like them and have nothing to do with my cat. A ultrasound. We need to look subdermally, get an ultrasound tomorrow. Assuming that's fine, she's fine, just had some kind of crazy virus, which means I was shoving, medicine down her throat twice a day for the last 4 or 5 days for nothing, or it seems like overkill. But anyway, she's fine. My mom's house is flooded and there's all kinds of water damage and mold. Luckily, it's all covered by insurance, but she's been staying with us and will probably continue to stay with us. Meanwhile, I finished the Red Ranger project and I'm finishing up, I'm in the process of working on my last 6 sketch card commissions. I finished the inks on one. I just got done printing out the ones that I will use to transfer the cards. The second one, I'm in the middle of the pencils, inks, whatever you want to call it. And the third one, I need to go back in and really clean up. There's 6, but they're sets of 2. So that's where I am with that. And Comic-Con is next week. I'll be going Saturday with Tech Advisor Arzuki. I'm going to try to go Thursday myself. I don't think I'm going to be doing much networking or anything like that. I'm going to try to buy a couple toys, try to look around, try to maybe get a signature or two, buy some art, but just sort of play and have fun as much as I can. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. And the kid will be back in school in about 2 weeks. And I'm hoping I feel like I've been doing a good job getting stuff done, even though I've been like borderline overwhelmed the last month. And I'm hoping that once I get back into the schedule of having several hours a day where she's at school every day, I could really start getting some real work done. That's my hope. And you're like, whoa!
Oh, careful!
Move out of the way, I'm gonna hit it. And then you're like, boop,
You hit the tree!
you come over here, you're like, soccer or football. And then you're like, hey, what's going on? Zoom. And then you're like, dee-dee-dee-dee. And then you're like, oh, ta-da!
Yeah!
It's Saturday, July 20th. It's going to be 100 degrees today. The air conditioner just broke. I cleaned out the garage so that they could get in and fix it today, hopefully. Our normal people that installed it and serviced it aren't going to be able to take it, so we're getting some kind of emergency service. But we've been having 100-degree days nonstop. And Tech Advisor Erzuki and myself don't want to live in this, obviously, but more importantly, we have a 4.5-year-old and a 7-year-old staying with us who definitely can't live like this. Yeah. Hey, so it's July, and it's been a little over a year since my dad died, and one of the things that have been unresolved is this tub of photos that I rescued from his house. A lot of them were like heat stuck together and damaged, but there's a lot to be saved here, like actual photos, and there's a lot that I can maybe take a picture of and then throw away the weird sticky half-ripped one. However, it smelled horrible, mostly like cigarette. I don't know what else. Had the same problem with the guitar I got from his house, so I did the same thing. I dumped a bunch of coffee grinds in there. They've been in there for about a week, and now I'm in the process of vacuuming. Vacuuming up the coffee grinds, shaking them off, and then I'll begin the process of going through these photos. Yeah, I remember thinking, like, I'm not ready to look at these yet. I'm not ready to deal with this yet, maybe in a year. And I was right. It's been about a year. I'm also thinking of going back and rewatching the video I made a year ago to see how it makes me feel now and kind of look at things with a little bit more objective eyes, like the tour of going through his house and stuff. I definitely think about him more now that he's dead than I did when he was alive, but I just wasn't speaking with him. And I definitely, there's a sense of loss and sadness and emptiness, and I wish like that my daughter had a grandfather, because she doesn't have any, because my wife's father died too. So there's a sadness there, but I don't wish her to have the grandfather that he was at the end. If he could have been an earlier version of himself. I talked about this, I think, previously, like I'm mourning the person he was, not the person he was at the end of his life, but the person, the ideal version of him that existed for some point of time, or at least at some point of time in my memory. But I definitely have a lot more just compassion and pity, and yeah, there's no anger at all. It's just mostly, yeah, pity and sadness and regret, but not even regret, like I should have done something differently, but I just regret that things are the way they are and it went the way it did. Nevertheless, I'm gonna look at some old pictures. This is a giant fan and some canopies and tables set up for the parents at the kid's birthday party I'm at. It's so hot here that every birthday party we've had has had a water feature for the children and some sort of cooling effect for the parents. And still, it's something. Free pizza though. So it's Tuesday and near the end of July. What's the date? The 23rd. And why am I wearing a mask? Well, because my daughter has COVID somehow. Maybe from her gymnastics class. I don't know. But she was puking last night. She has a fever today. She's sleeping right now, which she does not do during the day unless she's sick. She's seeming better. She doesn't seem to be too seriously sick today. Yesterday was worse. Everybody in the house is tested negative, but my mom, who is almost 70, is staying with us because her house flooded. And so now she's having to stay away from the kid. So she's stuck in her room as opposed to hanging out with everyone and providing some relief for me and, childcare, incidentally, let's say. So I'm going to go wake her up after an hour and a half of sleeping because I don't want her to be up all night. I'm going to do that by just sort of putting away laundry in her room, but I'm wearing the mask because I don't want to get COVID for many reasons. But here's the other thing. This week, and starting tomorrow, is Comic-Con. Didn't think I'd go there all 5 days, but my plan was to go Thursday during the day by myself, and then Saturday, Tech Advisor Arzuki and me were going to go all day, which would be a rare thing, and the first time we've done that since the child was created on this earth. Both of those plans are probably not going to happen now, because even if the kid is feeling better, which seems likely, she's still going to be contagious, and my mother, who had COVID earlier this year, had it really bad, and it lasted weeks, and it really messed her up. She almost went to the hospital, and she still has trouble breathing. I don't know if it's long COVID or what, but she's very reluctant to get it again, understandably, to the point where she's staying away from the kid now, even though she's staying in the house. So without her watching the kid, we definitely can't go together Saturday. And without her watching the kid, I definitely can't leave early myself Thursday. So I may still go some point, but the plans are messed up. Here's the other thing. I got a ticket to meet and get an autograph from Jim Lee through some kind of lottery, which I was like, oh, well, that'll be a fun thing to do. I'll bring some old Alpha flights, maybe a X-Men. Like, my plan was to bring, I don't know how many you could get signed. My plan was to bring like a sentimental one and then a valuable one. That was for my plan. So I don't know, maybe Saturday I'll go myself for a couple hours to just try to do that at least. But yeah, that's sort of, you know, cat was in the ER, mom's house flooded, kid has COVID. My other cat's puking. I think that's just normal puke though. So anyway, that's where we're going on. That's what's going on. I did do some drawing. I'm almost done with my cards 5 and 6 from my commissions. I had 6 cards, but they're in batches of 2, so it's weird. So I had the full digital pencils done and ready to transfer for the first 2 sets, and I'm been working on the last set, and I did work on that some today, so that's good. It's Super Cat. She flies so fast. It's Super Cat. This is Sunday after Comic-Con. Well, actually, no, Comic-Con's happening right now. It's the Sunday after I went Saturday. And I did the right thing, and I got home semi-early and had dinner and went to bed early, you know, relatively speaking, so that I'd be good for today. And couldn't get to sleep until 1:30. And then at 2:30, my house alarm went off. No idea why. Still don't know. Must have been a malfunction. But I went and dealt with that, and then I was up for a while, and I was like, oh, I didn't really... It said the garage door was open, but like there was nothing in the house. Everything was locked, but I didn't really do a good check. So then I'm like, and then I heard a bunk, and it was probably the cats, but then I had to go check, and basically I was up for hours. And so I got very bad sleep. Luckily, my mom was over, and she made breakfast for the kids, so I still had to get up early, but like I kind of, you know, lazed my way out of bed. And now we're at the park because it's not a million degrees for a change. That's like a waterfall. It looks like some fantasy setting with like these are the cliffs of Eldamore, where the ice cream butter flows into the pools of syrupy Lincoln.
That's right.
But beware, diabetes, the dragon.